This is Stacey McKibben with the Master Communicator podcast, where CEOs, senior leaders, and C-suite executives share their advice. It's 6 questions in 9 minutes because the best leaders know how to share their ideas concisely and quickly. Let's jump right in. Question number 1. In a few sentences, tell me who you are and what you do.
My name is Hinton. I'm founder and CEO of a company called SkyHive Technologies. We are a workforce reskilling platform that uses artificial intelligence to help companies and people understand their skills and rapidly reskill.
That's amazing. How long have you been doing that?
I started the company in 2016.
Oh, wow, amazing. And I can imagine in today's environment, as people are really challenged with, what does this new economy and this, the new pandemic crisis mean for us? The upskilling is going to be an incredibly important part of their professional development. So I'll be really excited to hear from you about that.
Yeah, so SkyHive was actually started as a for-profit social impact organization. So our goal was really to build advanced technology to help reskill the world. And so with COVID, this has become front and center, and we have never been busier. And it's an absolute privilege for us to be able to fulfill our vision and mission during a time where people need the support with reskilling.
Need it most, absolutely. Question 2, what's the best thing about leading people from your perspective?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Absolutely. Yeah, we did have a little glitch there. I was saying, what's question number 2? The best thing about leading people from your perspective?
I've been leading people now for almost 2 decades, and it's an absolute privilege to me to help people achieve untapped potential. And so that's very obviously closely related to why I built SkyHive, but that's actually a passion of mine in leading people.
Helping them become the best versions of themselves and kind of seeing those things inside of them that maybe they don't even see.
I think, yeah, and I think everybody has a barrier that they place on themselves, and I really love, in my role as a leader, breaking those barriers and helping them really go far further than they thought was possible.
That's so cool. Well, that leads me great to my next question, which is I often hear from other leaders that business would be great if it weren't for that pesky people part. I'm curious in this environment and given your industry and your space, what do you think about that statement?
I completely disagree with that statement. I think that any successful company initiative is the foundation for that is good people. And a company cannot be successful without a talented, passionate workforce that's working every day to push the company forward and have it be more productive. And so I actually think that a workforce and the talent within that workforce is the fundamental foundation for a successful company.
I love how you keep using the word talent. Again, it adds so much more value and weight to really what it is that the people bring to an organization. I think that really crystallizes, and I love how you use the word passion there too, because I think you bring talent and passion together, and wow, just get out of the way and let them go. What other successful business leaders like yourself should be on the podcast? I'm thinking about what other community leaders that are out there like you, that are out there every day making it happen, but maybe we just don't know about them, and we should be paying attention to what they have going on.
Yeah, I think it's actually more of a persona type. So we have an incredible community worldwide of entrepreneurs who are trying to solve really big problems. And it's not until we see circumstances like COVID, for example, where their incredible hard work is showcased, because these are the types of ideas that ultimately are resilient. So these ideas in normal times can seem a bit outlandish, a bit aspirational, and maybe not realistic. And it's not until we see this type of unique circumstance where those ideas and passions are actually really seen as fundamental to helping solve some of these big problems. And so for me, I'm always a big fan of the impact entrepreneur in terms of having them showcased and profiled and learning more about what's driving them every day to solve really, really big problems.
I love that. Again, I think it's that underlying bit that really is, again, where the meat or the rubber meets the road, if you will, right? That really drives somebody forward. What piece of advice about communication would you give to other leaders?
Sorry, can you repeat that one as well?
Yeah, sorry, we're having one of those days. what,
That's fine.
what piece of advice about communication would you give to other leaders?
This is going to sound a little cliche as a starting point, but I would say listen far more than one talks as a leader. I often find that I rely on listening and absorbing and reflecting before making decisions. And that really helps me in a couple of areas. First of all, we tend to have our amygdalas triggered pretty easily and can easily step into conflict on ideas where we have a preconceived position, and our goal in that communication is to actually impose our position. I like to actually take engagement between another person that I'm communicating with, and I take myself as a third party, almost like a fly on the wall, observing a conversation. And it allows me to not be triggered into my own position, which leads to better ideas, more of a super mind where you have a generative discussion as opposed to a positional. I find that to be probably the most important tool that I use for communication.
Well, I love that because again, you're taking, control of yourself and you're putting yourself in the driver's seat to think about things in a particular way versus using, well, that's just how I am, or that's just how I think about things. You're really challenging yourself to go beyond that. And I think that's the huge takeaway there. Magic question number 6. Tell us about your favorite boss or teacher. Who's really influenced you?
That's a really great question. I had the ability to work with probably the most phenomenal entrepreneur that I've ever met. And he's actually the Canadian Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year this year. And so I was so happy that, and this person is named Jeff Chutter, and he runs an amazing company called Whitewater West Industries. And I spent 10 years working with him, and a lot of what I learned about entrepreneurship I learned from him, and so Jeff is a real hero to me and a mentor.
That's amazing. Well, I'm glad that you had an opportunity to kind of reflect on that and to be able to share it with folks. I think the big piece for me about this question is to really challenge people to think about who's in your world right now that you're learning from and that you're growing with. And if you have a hard time finding somebody, then you have a good book.
Yeah.
Right, and start averaging up. Well, thank you so much for being on this show, Sean. It's been an absolute pleasure. How can people find you if they want to reach out and introduce themselves or learn more about your business?
Absolutely. So SkyHive's website is www.skyhive.io.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Well, I sure hope somebody does reach out and say hello, because I can tell already that you're a wealth of knowledge and your generosity has preceded you here. So thank you so much for your time today.
My pleasure, Stacey.
And this is Stacey McKibben with the Master Communicator podcast. For more ideas and insights, please do go check us out at www.concilioteam.com. We look forward to seeing you again next time. Take care. Bye-bye.